Me like movie. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of Me Like Not Like. Today's May 21st, 2025. I am Giuseppe and I like movies. As far as movies go, Final Destination movies were never on the top of my list of movies that like I had to rush out and see or rush out and grab a copy of or rent. You know, I didn't see all of them. I did see the first one when it released, I think on VHS. I think we rented it from Blockbuster. And I liked it. I like the premise. I like the idea that if death is coming for you, he's coming for you. If you're supposed to die at a certain point, at a certain time, at a certain day, and you didn't, you cheated it, you were able to get out of it, it's still coming for you. Doesn't matter what you do. It's still coming for you. And it's going to come at you for like in the most like inane, crazy, wild, ridiculous way. It's not like you're going to get hit by a car and that's it. It's not like you're going to have a heart attack. It's like going to be crazy because you have to die, and anything that's going to, it's like, yo, I feel like death is sitting there like, you know what? You cheated. So now one of the worst things that you could ever never think of is going to happen. And I think before Final Destination Bloodlines came out, the last one that I saw was in 2009 called The Final Destination. The Final Destination. Now, I saw this one in theater because it was in 3D. I love 3D, as I've mentioned before. And it was a fun movie. But at the time, I was working in like a wood shop. You know, we were making like furniture for like barbershops and stuff like that. And it was kind of scary walking into the warehouse the next day, walking into the wood shop to do my job, having seen Final Destination and seeing the crazy ways that people die in these movies, thinking, oh my God, I'm going to die. You know, looking at giant table saws, you know, electric sanders, you know, routing machines, all kinds of stuff, thinking there are so many ways to die. And then you walk out into the warehouse. I would walk out into the warehouse and it's like, you know, high shelves with, you know, materials all the way at the top, like all the way to the roof. And, you know, it's a warehouse. So it's like a huge, huge room. Like, and the shelves go all the way to the top. You know, there's like broken mirrors leaning against the wall on one end. And you got glass here. You got, you know, just metal frames over here and all kinds of stuff. A guy's climbing a ladder and he's on the top step and on the top shelf grabbing something. But that dude's not the one who's going to die. It's going to be me, because he's not the one who's going to die. He's going to grab something and it's going to pull something else out that he didn't realize, and it's going to fall. That's not what's going to kill me, though. That's going to hit something else off the shelf, and that's going to bounce and hit me in the head. But that's not what's going to kill me yet either, because I'm going to move back from the hit, and I'm going to slip on some sludge on the floor, fall on my back. I'm not dead yet. Now, pipes are going to fall from the shelf all over me, almost knocking me out, but I'm not dead yet. What's going to kill me is when I get up from under all those pipes, the asshole driving the forklift isn't going to see that I just got up, and he's going to impale me with the forks. And then I'll finally die. Maybe. Because that thing might go out of control and out of the place and into the street, and then we both die. And the thing explodes because of the butane tank on the back. Butane, propane, whatever. Big tank of gas. That's how I die in Final Destination. That's what I thought was going to happen the day after I saw The Final Destination in 3D. Now, Final Destination Bloodlines came out last week. Now, again, I was never huge into the movies. I never rushed out. They were never like priority on my list. Like when a new one came out, didn't rush out to the theater, didn't rush to rent it or watch it somehow. And now that everything's on streaming, I never like went back to like find all the ones that I missed. No. But I did enjoy the ones that I saw. But the main reason that I rushed out to go see Final Destination Bloodlines is because of Tony Todd. This was one of his last movies. I think he's got one more thing coming out after this. And who knows, you know, there could be something coming out 2 years from now that Tony Todd was on that no one knew about. And, you know, it just happens that way with actors, you know. So That's what got my ass in the theater. That's what got my ass in the seat. That's what got me to get a ticket last Thursday to see Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, this is the part where I'm going to warn you that there are going to be spoilers, because I got to tell you about the movie, tell you what happens, and tell you what I thought. So, starts out, young couple. It's like the 50s or the 60s. And it's the 60s. So you got this couple. They went to this thing that was called the Skyview restaurant. Now, what this was this big tower of a place with a big round top where people sat down and ate. And like everything was made of glass. The floor was made of glass. And people are dancing, having a good time. The young woman, Iris, she's there with her boyfriend. And it's his idea to take her here. All the seats are taken now, and like his reservation wasn't going through because there were too many people there. But of course, someone more famous or more richer than he is on the line behind him. Oh, please come right in. That type of thing. It always happens. Cliche. So, they're having a good time, whatever, and they're dancing, and there's this other little bratty, shitty kid, like just tossing pennies off the top. A guy, the security guard tells him not to do that, because we all know the story about what happens when you toss a penny down. So, of course, Iris is there with her boyfriend, and he's going to propose to her, and then, that's when shit goes wrong. That's when the little kid tosses the penny, gets stuck in the air vent, closes the air vent, fucks everything up. The fucking ground starts cracking where the people are dancing, and everything just gets shot to shit. There's one of the singers in the band. Her son is there, her little son, Billy, I believe his name was. And you think this is where she cheats death. This is where it all ends. This is where somehow she lives and gets to tell the story about it, and death is going to follow her. No. She dies. Her and the boy. Like, she almost saves the boy's life, but they both die. And you're like, what the hell just happened? And guess what? Girl wakes up. It's a dream. So you got this character, Stephanie, wakes up from this dream. And when she talks about it, it turns out Iris, it's her grandmother. She dreams about her grandmother dying at the Skyview restaurant, this place that she was at. And she wants to meet with Iris. Nobody wants anything to do with Iris because they thought she was crazy, because she told the story about how she saw everything happen before it happened. And what did she do? She saved everybody. What really happened was she saved everybody. She ran into the room, told everybody the floor was breaking, stopped the kid from throwing the penny. Everybody's looking down. They see the floor's cracking. They all rush out. Everybody gets out alive. She saves the boy's life. She saves everybody's life. Gets to live. And she figures out what's happening. She figures out that death's coming for her. So what does she do? She locks herself in the house. Everybody thinks she's crazy. So now, how this whole story adds up now is that because she cheated death back in the 1960s, her life wasn't supposed to happen the way it was. She wasn't supposed to have kids. Her kids weren't supposed to have kids. And all the people that were at the Skyview restaurant weren't supposed to go on with their lives, to have families, have kids, have grandkids, and all of that. So death came for all of them, because none of those people, none of these hundreds, thousands of people, I would say hundreds, hundreds of people, they're not supposed to be alive. They're not even supposed to exist, because those people in that tower were supposed to die and never have a family. So, of course, as things are going through, it's like, okay, this person's going to die, that person's going to die. And then they meet, at one point, they meet with Tony Todd. He's the boy that the grandmother saved, that Iris saved back in the 1960s. And he tells him there's only two ways to cheat it, is to either die or kill somebody. Basically sacrifice somebody, put them in your place. So, one of the dumber brothers says, hey, listen, why don't we do this to you? We'll make you die, and then we'll bring you back. Because it turned out that somebody died somewhere along the line. I can't remember which movie it was, because like I said, I haven't seen them all. Died, and came back to life, was saved, was resurrected. So that person cheated death the right way, so to speak. Again, this is always like just an abridged. There's like, other deaths and stuff that I cut out just to get to the point here. And so, of course, that dude dies because they fucked it up. A dude that wasn't supposed to die, that wasn't supposed to be part of the timeline. His brother, who apparently wouldn't have been part of the timeline because his mother had another man's baby. So he's not actually part of that whole bloodline. He would have been spared, but one of the things Tony Todd tells them, one of the things adult William tells them is, you mess around with death, death gets messy. So one of the messy things was the dude who wasn't supposed to die ended up dying. So goes on, this girl, Stephanie, and her brother, Charlie, they're fighting death the whole time. They're, finally gets to a point where Stephanie is drowning. Charlie pulls her out of the water and saves her life. So they think that's it. It's over. Death's gone. She was dead and brought her back to life. So at the end, Charlie is having his prom. They're talking about it, and someone's like, hey, look, she was just unconscious. Like, how do you think that you brought her back to life? She was unconscious. You just brought her, They're like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? So then, of course, the train derails in the most ridiculous ways, which, the penny returns, and it gets stuck in a switch that's opening for a train to switch paths and doesn't go right. So apparently this switch being opened this much is what derailed this whole freight train. And the thing just falls apart and just comes flying through the street, takes out Charlie and Stephanie. Death got them. Nobody lives. Nobody who was supposed to live lived. And I'll tell you, I enjoyed it. When you go to see a Final Destination movie, you know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get ridiculous, crazy deaths. This just had it just had an interesting storyline that I enjoyed. I appreciated. It was just kind of funny that Stephanie at one point did all the math, did all the graphing, took everybody's names who were on the Skyview that night, pieced it all together on a board, said, well, see, this person died, and then this person died, their kids died, they're all dead, and grandma was the last one. And she witnessed her grandmother's death because her grandmother says to her, look, you don't believe me. Let me show you. She walks outside, and, of course, some crazy shit happens. A big pole gets fucking pushed through the back of her head. Blood splatters all over Stephanie's face. And now she believes because it happened right in front of her face. But it was a fun movie. It was enjoyable. If you watch Final Destination to be completely moved cinematically, it's not going to happen. You're going to have fun. You're definitely going to have fun. You know that when you see a Final Destination movie, it's going to be crazy kills. Anything and everything can happen in these movies. You don't have any kind of expectation other than this might be a fun movie. And this one was. And again, like I said, Tony Todd was in it. And me and maybe 4, maybe 5 other people applauded when he came onto the screen. And when they did the whole In Loving Memory at the end of the movie, I was disappointed. I was like, yo, why isn't everybody fucking clapping for Tony Todd? It's fucking Candyman. Yo, wake the fuck up. And his role was just it was so powerful for the short amount of time he was in it because it's fucking Tony Todd. I mean, how many times do I got to say it? Guy's a legend. Guy is an icon. And I got a little teary-eyed. I'm not going to lie. Because one of the things was, I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. I was supposed to meet Tony Todd at a horror convention last year at the Connecticut Horror Fest. And I never do the pro photo shoots. Not because they're expensive. It's not a big deal to me. I'd rather have a picture with the actor. But the pro photo shoot with Tony Todd would have been Tony Todd in the Candyman outfit. I'm like, that would be so fucking cool. Ticket was to get the picture was $140. I don't even know how much he charged for an autograph or a picture at his table, a selfie at his table. But I'm like, I need to do this. One of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to bring my Candyman mask, my Candyman Jason mask, if you could see it. This is This is my Candyman Friday the 13th Part 7 hybrid. So Part 7 was my favorite Friday the 13th movie. Now, and of course, I love Candyman. So the idea came to me to make a Candyman Jason mask. So I styled it after Part 7, as you can see, like, you know, the gold paint, like the bronze paint, the gold paint, whatever. I used to like be the honey and, you know, hear the flies, the bees. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I never got to meet him. I never got to meet Tony Todd. But I do take great pleasure, great happiness in the fact that when I tweeted that on on Twitter, I did a whole video of it, like just the mask with the Candyman theme song, and I posted it on Twitter with the music in the background. You know, I tagged Tony Todd. I mean, it's like we all like to tag the person that we're trying to like gain the attention of. Never really expecting them to like have any kind of reaction to it, you know. But he did heart it, and he did retweet it. That like made my life. Like I was taking screenshots and like posting it on Facebook, on Instagram, on Slasher, and I was just so ecstatic. Now, the fact that I never got to meet him, but knowing that he saw something that I created and liked it and retweeted it, that was just amazing to me. At least he knew, even, you know, for that split second, knew who I was. So it's kind of enough, you know. I mean, it's cool. It's great. Like, of course, I would have loved to have met him, but just knowing that he liked my Candyman Jason mask, it means a lot. It meant a lot. It still does. So, Tony Todd, you are missed. Rest in peace. And for Final Destination Bloodlines, I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Again, no expectations because, like I said, a Final Destination movie, you know what you're going to get. And you get exactly that in this movie. It was a lot of fun. Very enjoyable. Liked the story. And I appreciate you listening, watching, however you decide to partake in this. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great night. Have a great day. Have a drink. Like, share, subscribe.